am so excited you guys are here with me today. Let me know in the comments that you're here, that you're watching, where you're watching from. I am really excited. Today we're going to talk about leveling up your content game by speeding up the process. So I'm going to go ahead really quickly and share this into my private Facebook group. If you're not already in the Socially Awesome community, you can join that at any point in time. Right there in my stand store, or you can drop group in the comments if you are on Facebook or on Instagram. Unfortunately, TikTok doesn't work with keywords, but you can find it right there in my stand store. So I'm going to give you 10 of my best tips today to help you speed up your content game. Okay. Because one thing I heard over and over and over, and I hear it all the time in my, Facebook group. I heard it in our From Views to Revenue Masterclass we just had recently. It's just the time, right? The time it's taking you to get this done. And it's what most people struggle with. And you started your business for time freedom, yet you feel like you're always creating content. You're always on the hamster wheel, okay? So my goal today is to give you some 10 actionable steps that are going to help you really level this up so that you can speed up the process. And not just for speed, not everything's about being the fastest, but when you can speed up the process, not only will you have the ability to leverage it and make more sales, but also potentially, find out why it's not converting now and how you can fix it to improve it in the future. Okay. So I'm going to flip my screen so that everyone on TikTok can actually see the slides. Unfortunately, you won't be able to watch the replay on TikTok with the slides, but you can get them in my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. So if you're not in there, the replay is always posted in there. So if you have to hop off, you're not able to stay with us the whole time, definitely make sure you're in the community so that you can get the replay. Okay. But quick and easy videos. We want to speed up your editing and your posting game. Okay. And first, I always like to start these presentations just by telling you a little bit about me, so that, together we can, not only will you know why I'm credible to share this information with you, but also so that you can understand my own experience. Okay. So I'm Elise Smith. If you're new here, if this is your first live training with me, welcome. And feel free to drop that in the chat so that we know, or the comments wherever you're watching, so that we know that you're new and you're here and you're hanging out with us. But every Wednesday at noon, I go live. I've been doing that for 2 years. So if you are, like I said, brand new here, make sure you hit the follow button, because I always do free trainings just about things that my audience is struggling with on Wednesdays at noon Central Standard Time. And you can always catch the replays in my free Facebook community. But I'm a mom of 3. I am a wife. I'm a multi-6-figure business owner, speaker, podcaster, published author, and a coach for female entrepreneurs. And, I started just like you not long ago, 2 years. It's flown by, but I wasn't a sales expert, right? I was just a mom who really was looking for that freedom in my schedule, and also, the opportunity to have an income from home. So before putting systems into my business, though, I was the system. And that's something I really want you to understand, because as we go through these tips today, it's really important for you to know that everything that I'm teaching is developed from my own experience. Okay. And I like to share that, because a lot of times people think that you have to be an expert or a guru to be able to teach someone something. And my goal is never really to bring you new information. You've already watched more modules for courses than you ever wanted to in your life, right? You thought you graduated school 20 years ago, and here you are being back in school. And that's okay. I'm not discouraging you from learning. The thing is, you have so much information already in your brain, you're overwhelmed. And so my goal as a coach is not really to teach you anything new. It's to bring you back to the basics and make things super simple for you. Okay. So just know that a lot of times when people come through my trainings, they're like, this is something I already knew, but you just made it so easy and digestible. So that's always my goal. I've hit 100,000 in sales in less than 6 months, not once, but twice. So everything I teach you is also proven. It's not like, oh, it was an accident and I got lucky. It's all based on strategy and marketing principles as a whole. Okay. So let's dive right into the meat of the presentation today. So And for those of you that are new, I do like to always make slides. I know that's crazy. But it just keeps me on track and making sure I'm staying on course. But tip number one, plan your videos ahead of time. Okay. And if you were in my From Views to Revenue Masterclass, you already know that I beat it like a dead horse that you have to be planning your content. 80% of your content is done in the planning phase, not the filming and the editing phase. Okay. So when you're waking up every day and I don't know what to post today, what do I need to say to make a sale today? I don't have creativity today. That's your first problem. Okay. That is your absolute first problem. You have to have a plan. And one thing I heard a lot in the masterclass that I had last week was that people don't know what to plan. They don't know how to plan. They don't know, what point of views, what topics. So that's part of the reason you don't have a plan, is because you're not super clear on your ideal client. You maybe aren't super clear on your offer. And those are your building blocks of what you're doing in your business, right? Maybe you don't even have a goal. Maybe you have a goal, but you have no idea how you're going to get there, right? Your goal might be, I want to make 5,000 a month. I want to make 10,000 a month. How are you going to get there? How many courses do you need to sell to hit that goal? Or how many coaching clients do you need, right? And then how many leads do you need to bring into your funnel to make those sales? You need to know these things. And that's all part of planning, okay? And I will go ahead and say I have tons of resources for you guys packed into today's training. So I'm going to give you some keywords. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, the keywords will work. If you're on TikTok, okay, I am so sorry, keywords don't work on TikTok. A lot of these resources you can find in my Stand store on TikTok, or you can always travel over to IG or Facebook and drop the keyword and we'll send it right to your DMs, okay? But be prepared. The point here is that most of your content needs to be done in the planning phase, okay? And I will say that I've got some ninja tips for you with each tip. So a couple ninja tips for you. One, when you're writing your captions and you're doing your planning, it needs to be written down somewhere. It needs to be documented somewhere, okay? Put all your captions, all your hooks in a Google Doc. I prefer Trello. I love Trello. I teach my students in the club and in the academy all about Trello, how to use it. Students in my academy and my club also get, Trello templates that I create for them. But when you have everything in one place and you get your ass organized, it will be so much easier. How much time are you wasting every month going back through all your IG reels and looking at your captions? Or how much time are you wasting every single month going back and looking through the notes on your iPhone, trying to find that idea that you jotted down after you got out the shower, right? So I'm not saying I have the perfect documentation process, but I am very thorough about making sure everything is in a Google Doc or a Trello board. And I also have time on my calendar every week, on Fridays usually, to go back and take anything out of my notes on my phone. Because you guys, my iPhone notes are so unorganized, it's ridiculous. Like I have 1,000 notes and some of them are like one word. But I go back every Friday and I go through my notes and I put it into place, right? So if I had this random idea, this random thought that came to me while I was laying in bed, right about to go to bed, I put it in my notes. And then on Friday, I take it and I put it in my Google Docs or I put it on my Trello board, okay? But when you're planning, plan somewhere that you can use every month, because this is going to help you, one, not have to create new content every single day, but it's also going to allow you to not have to start from scratch every month. Right now, you're probably starting from scratch every month, and that's taking so much time. If you document all of your content planning for the whole month of August, when you go in to start planning for September, you go back and say what worked, what didn't, what can I do to improve? And you have a starting point. So get yourself organized, okay? So the reason I have club on here is I actually teach this in my club to my students. So in my academy and in my club, we have content planning sessions the last week of every single month. So if you are a student in one of my programs, we do content planning together. So I not only, help them plan their content, but I show them how I do it, what's worked for me. Most of the time I give them like fill in the blank done for you hooks so that it kind of speeds up their process. But if that is something you struggle with planning, I highly recommend that you check out the Social Success Club. That is something I work thoroughly on within my students. Okay. Tip number 2, use templates for consistency, right? No one likes to start from scratch. So if you're documenting and you're using tip 1 and you're staying super consistent with documenting your process, documenting your workflows, writing your captions in Google Docs, whatever that looks like for you, use those to create templates. Okay. I have templates for just about everything in my life. I'm not kidding. And if I have something that I've done more than 2 to 3 times, I make a template for it. So I have templates for emails, right? I have templates for emails. So I know every time a student tells me they can't find their login for a course, I have a template for it, right? And it saves me so many hours. I do the same in my content planning. So I have templates for my hashtags. I have templates for my captions, my written captions. I have templates for my call to actions. I have templates for my hooks. So every month when I'm planning, like we talked about in tip 1, again, I'm not starting from scratch. Now, obviously, we don't want to create templates of something that isn't working. So this takes some optimizing. But when you find something that works, use it as a template, okay? And I'll give you some examples of that. So here's some ninja tips. I write templates for my captions on IG, how they're set up. So depending upon if it's a storytelling if it's storytelling reel, if it's a point A to point B reel, if it's a testimonial reel, if it's an objection reel, all the different elements that go into the marketing piece, I have templates for that, okay? These are some examples that I gave my students in the club. So again, when you work with a mentor in a program, you're able to kind of play on their expertise, right? You're able to see what worked for them. And I give that information to my students. I've also given some of this to people who were in the masterclass, and especially those that have got content audits from me. So a lot of people that came through the masterclass last week opted in to get a content audit, and I go into their feed. Let me know in the comments if you got an audit, what your feedback is, what your thoughts were. But I gave them templates saying, hey, this is what I'm seeing in your content currently. This is my recommendation. Here's a template to help you set it up. But when I go to create my content and my written content, especially for my reels, oh my gosh, can you imagine how much faster this would be just to insert and plug and play, right? So it's really important for you to work smarter, not harder. And this is just part of that process of having workflows in your business, okay? Tip number 3, create a video content schedule, okay? Again, I beat this like a dead horse. For those that were in the masterclass, we talked about having a cadence for everything, right? We talked about having a cadence for everything. So, a monthly cadence, a weekly cadence, a content framework cadence. And we broke that down step by step in Views to Revenue Masterclass. But create yourself a video content schedule. Every week, you shouldn't be starting from scratch. You should know, okay, Monday, I'm going to post a storytelling reel. On Tuesday, I'm going to post an objection reel. On Wednesday, I'm going to post a myth. On Thursday, I'm going to, and create yourself a schedule. That makes your planning so much easier. And I see a lot of comments coming in, you guys. Keep dropping them. And then I usually come in at the end and answer the comments and any questions that you guys have. So definitely encourage your engagement, encourage you interacting with this. So make sure you drop any questions you have, but create yourself a schedule. Okay. Make a plan. Again, if you're not creating a content schedule, if you're not making a plan, 9 times out of 10, it's a confidence thing. You're just not confident in your current content. So you're struggling to create it into a schedule, right? But I'll give you some examples of this. So 1, create yourself a schedule for creation. So like we talked about, Monday, I'm going to post about this. Tuesday, I'm going to post about this. Wednesday, I'm going to post about this. And every week you're using that same schedule, right? Another thing, you need to create yourself a content schedule for the actual production. All right. And again, I beat this like a dead horse in my From Views to Revenue Masterclass. Unfortunately, the masterclass is no longer $7. So if you got in at the $7 price point, you got to steal. You got a serious steal, and you know that. But it is now available to purchase as a course. Okay, so I've put it into a course that you can get. You can get all the resources, you can get the replay and all the breakdown I gave those students. So if you missed the masterclass, you want to check that out. Drop revenue on Facebook or IG, and we'll get you that link. If you're on TikTok, you can actually DM me the word revenue on IG or Facebook, and we'll get you that. Okay, but what gets scheduled gets done. So right now, more than likely, you're throwing things together, right? You're on your lunch break at work. You go to your car. You're like, oh man, I got to film a TikTok today. I don't know what to say. Let me hurry up and just get this done, right? No, it needs to be on your calendar. Mark yourself off an hour of time on whatever day works for you, even if it's at midnight, okay? And batch your content, plan your content, film your content, edit your content. But you need to have this on your calendar, okay? On your calendar. And you're going to have every excuse in the book. And my students will tell you that, I'm not the coach that is mean, but I will kick you in the butt when needed. And you have every excuse. I got this many kids. I do this. I have a job. I have, soccer every night, or I have this and that. Cut the excuses, okay? You find time to do what you want to do. You find time to do what's most important to you. You find time to binge that new Netflix series. You find time to scroll on your phone every night. You can find time to plan your content, to film your content, to batch your content. The problem and the reason you feel so overwhelmed with it right now is because you're not scheduling it. You're throwing it together on a whim, and you have to get out of side hustle mode and start acting like a CEO, right? A CEO doesn't walk into their office and say, I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm just here. Heck no, they have it scheduled down to the minute. And I'm not saying you have to do that. We like that time freedom, but it needs to be on your calendar. Stop making excuses, okay? I'm a mom of 3. I have a special needs child. I have a grandma that I help take care of. I have multiple businesses, okay? You can cut the excuses. The problem is it's not on your calendar, so you're not doing it, okay? I love you, but that's the truth. So again, I explain all about the cadence and the scheduling and my recommendations for how you set this up in your framework and your content in the From Views to Revenue Masterclass. So you can, like I said, get that replay. Tip number 4, leveraging apps, okay? So you might be like, duh, I have 100 apps on my phone right now. But there's a lot of ways to leverage these apps that you might not be currently doing. And I'm going to break these down a little bit, step by step. So a couple tips. One, Instagram actually recently released on mine. Now, I will tell you, these platforms roll things out to certain accounts at a time. So sometimes my students have features I don't have. Sometimes I'll have features you don't have. So that's just part of it. But one thing I recently saw on my Instagram that was new about 2 weeks ago is before I go to post a reel, it actually asks me if I want to duplicate it and save it in my drafts. Yes, say yes. Yes, say yes. Okay. One, you can duplicate it, leave it in your drafts for 60 days or so, and then post it again later. No one remembers. Okay. No one remembers what you posted. So it's totally fine. But the beauty of this is if that reel didn't perform well, obviously we don't want to repost it exactly the same, but it's in your drafts. You can go in and edit the hook a little bit. You could edit the caption a little bit. If it didn't perform at all, it was terrible, then at least you have the B-roll footage there and you can completely change the actual goal of the content. Okay. So duplicate, absolutely something you can do. On TikTok, I don't have that ability, but you can save your videos before you add text to them. You can save them after you add text to them too, and have it in your phone to use again in the future. Okay. So that's one way that you can kind of save some time, right? If I have a B-roll piece of content, then I use it probably once a month or every other month at least. So you're not having to constantly refilm. Another way to do this is CapCut. So if you use CapCut, you can do the same thing. You can duplicate, right? You can duplicate. So that is a huge time saver. Another huge time saver with CapCut is one thing that's really important with your content is your branding. So making sure that your filters are the same, making sure that your text and fonts are the same, right? The branding of your business. And one way you could do this in CapCut is if you have a template with your font and your overlay, then you just duplicate it and then change the words. And it's saving you a lot of time with having to re-add the text on the screen, re-add the overlay, all of those things. And then again, saving. So we talked about saving your content, before you post it. So use those apps to leverage that. There's some other apps I'll share with you here in a minute, but I also talk a lot about leveraging different apps in my automation domination guide. So if you don't already have that, it's free. It's absolutely free. You can drop Dominate on Facebook or IG. If you are on TikTok, you'll be able to find that in my Stand store under free resources. But there's a lot of other apps I use that help me save time. So I actually take my TikToks of me talking and I transcribe those using an app called TurboScribe. It's free up to 3 videos a day. So I take my A-roll content of me teaching on TikTok and I transcribe the audio. It types it all out. And then I use that audio type to create captions for Instagram or to create Facebook posts. So it's about working smarter, not harder. And I teach you all of that in my automation domination guide. So if you haven't already grabbed that guide, 10 out of 10 recommend. It's 10 of my favorite automation tools that save me a ton of time and money in my business. Okay. Another ninja tip here is another way to leverage these apps is to really look at finding 2 to 3 creators that are either doing something similar to you or they have the same ideal client as you. And one, seeing what they're posting, what's working for them. Do not copy anyone's content. That will ruin your brand. That will ruin your messaging. But look at finding creators that will help save you a little bit of time. So an example of this is I have a couple creators I follow on Instagram that I know always post using pre-trending audio. I don't know if they pay for a service. I don't know where they find these pre-trending audios, but every day they got one. They got a pre-trending audio and I follow them like a hawk. That way, I'm not spending hours every day scrolling Instagram looking for a pre-trending audio. I know exactly whose profile to go to get one. It saves me so much time. And it's kind of like a cheat code, right? The 3 that I follow, they don't even have the same ideal client as me. They're in a whole different niche as me, but I know they always have the best pre-trending audio. And if you're not already in my Instagram broadcast channel, it's absolutely free. You can drop broadcast on Facebook or IG, or you can find the link in my Stand store if you're on TikTok. But I also share those trending audios that I find with you. So every day in my IG broadcast channel, I put a pre-trending or an early trending audio. Any Instagram updates that I have Google alerts and different companies that send me when something is updated. I follow a lot of those programs. So I share those with you. I recently shared in there about Instagram's new location feature. If you're not aware of that, they now have almost like Snapchat's map back in the day where people can see your exact address. My profile doesn't currently have that feature, but I know a lot of people who do have it. So like in my Instagram broadcast channel, I shared with my people in there, my audience in there that, hey, this is now, on IG. If you want to protect your privacy, go turn this off. And I shared with them how to do that. So every single day, if you are trying to grow a business on Instagram, I am trying to help you with that by sharing free things in my broadcast channel. So make sure you hop in there if you're not already plugged into that. All right. Number 5, batch your sessions. Okay. So we talked earlier about planning your content and then scheduling it, right? Scheduling it on your calendar. But when you are batching and you are trying to save yourself that time, you need to batch your sessions. So let me explain this. When you are using batching effectively, you batch plan. So schedule an hour or whatever, however long you need, or if you're in my club or the academy, we do this together to plan the content, okay? Then at a different time, schedule yourself some time to film it, okay? Then at a different time, or, after you're done filming it, edit it, right? So when you are writing out your script, filming, editing, posting, start over. When you're doing each step, every time you do a different step, you're having to change hats, right? So you have to go from being really good on camera and performing for your audience, making sure you're entertaining, engaging, all of those things, and then take that hat off and go to editing. And then take that hat off and go to posting. And then you need to be batching in bite-sized pieces. So some things that I do, one, I plan all of my content. I try to do a month in advance. I know that sounds crazy. A lot of people aren't ready for that. I've been in business for a long time, so I've worked all of this out. But if you can't batch at least a month, if you can't plan a month of content in advance, at least plan a week. Okay. So if you give yourself, let's say 1 hour on Sunday to write out all of your hooks, all your captions, write out your call to actions, all of those things. And then maybe on Monday, you give yourself 1 hour to record all of those videos. If you're doing B-roll, it probably wouldn't even take you that long. If you're doing A-roll like me, it might take you a little bit more time, a little bit more minutes, whatever. But plan, then film. Once you're done filming, then edit. Okay, then edit. But right now, when you are shifting hats over and over and over, you go from being creative to not being creative, to feeling burnt out, to tired. I didn't get it done. This also eliminates from you having those days where you're like, well, I just didn't get it posted today. I just didn't get it done today. When you have the plan, you're able to record so much faster. And then you're not going to have to go into your car on your lunch break and say, well, I don't have anything to post today. I'm not really feeling inspired. Your drafts are going to be full of all of that content you already batched, right? There are days that I sit down and batch. Fridays are one of my favorite days to do it because Socially Awesome is technically closed on Friday. But I use it to catch up on personal errands. I use it to, do things with my kids' students in their schools. But I also use it for batching content because I feel really inspired on Fridays. I usually feel really creative on Fridays because I'm off work, if that makes sense. So I'm not responding to emails. I'm not, all of those different tasks that we're doing in our business every day. So on Fridays, I usually go ahead and batch 10 videos. Okay. I batch 10. And a lot of times they're not even my planned content, right? I told you a second ago, I plan the whole month, but I save them in my drafts so that if something happens or I get sick or one of my kids gets sick or whatever, my drafts is always full of content that I know I can use. Okay. And honestly, I've created content so consistently for the last 2 years. I have thousands of pieces of content I could always repost if I wanted to do that as well. But some ninja tips for this, like we talked about, planning, then filming, then editing, and then scheduling if you're someone who wants to schedule. And I'll get to that here in a second. That's a different tip for you guys. But I talk a lot about being super productive in my Master Your DMO training. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. And I do have a free DMO guide, right? 90% of the reason you are so overwhelmed and burnt out in your business is because you're running it like a side hustle and not a business. You got to get your DMO, your daily method of operations, set. Okay. You need to start treating your business like a CEO and start showing up that way. And the only way to do that is to know exactly what you're doing every day. You will feel 10 times more confident when you walk into your office or your dining room or wherever you do your business at if you have a plan. So again, I have a free training called Master Your DMO, and I have a free checklist that goes with it. So you can drop DMO on Facebook or IG and get that. And if you're on TikTok, you can go to IG and comment DMO on any of my reels or any of my stories, or you can DM me the word DMO and I'll get you that. Okay. But you really have to have a plan for your business and not just your content, your entire business as a whole. What are your daily tasks? What is your growth plan? What are your goals? Right. And a lot of people struggle with that. So I hope that DMO training really will help you get super clear on how to get your ass organized. All right. Tip number 6. Automate your posting. So a lot of people ask me about scheduling my content. I personally do not schedule my TikToks or my reels unless I know I'm not going to be available. Okay. I like to stay connected to my business. I like to stay plugged into my business. And so by me going onto those two platforms every single day, it allows me to, check my comments, check my DMs, really stay plugged in. But again, all of my content is pre-recorded, batched in my drafts. All right. So I say this because a lot of you have a 9 to 5. A lot of you might have a super, like you have limited time for planning your content or for scheduling your content or getting it posted. If that is you, you need to automate your posting. Okay. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm going to break these down here in just a second. But people ask me all the time about auto posting my reels and my TikToks. I personally do not, unless I know I'm going to be unavailable. Okay. Another reason for that is on IG, I specifically do mostly B-roll. So I want to put the most relevant trending audio to that. But there are ways to do this. Okay. And I'm going to give you some ninja tips here. So on Instagram, you can actually pre-schedule reels. Most people can. Again, every platform and every person has different features. So if for some reason your Instagram app does not have the scheduling option, there are other resources. Okay. There are other tools. But Instagram allows you to schedule reels for most people right there inside the app. So that is something that you can take advantage of. If you are on Instagram, you're growing on Instagram, you have it planned, you put it in your drafts, you can schedule it. If you know that you're not going to have time to post your content today, it needs to be scheduled. Okay. Again, cut the excuses. It needs to be scheduled. Now, I will tell you, again, like I said, I don't usually schedule my reels because I like to plug in every day. It just keeps me excited about my business. But another way you could do this is if the only available time you have to work your business is at 6 a.m. before you go into your 9 to 5, then get on at 6 a.m. and schedule it to post at noon or 10 or whatever time your audience is most active. You don't have to schedule a whole month in advance, but using that scheduling is going to keep you consistent, right? It also allows you to make sure that you're plugging in when your audience is most plugged in. So a lot of people ask, what is the best time to post on the apps? It's different for everyone. The best time to post is when your audience is most active. Your audience and my audience are not the same, okay? So you need to be checking your analytics. With TikTok, you can schedule TikToks using TikTok Studio, okay, on desktop. I've tried to figure it out on TikTok Studio, their new app. I haven't been able to do that. You can schedule on desktop. In order to do that, you're going to have to either download your content or create it in CapCut or some other way. So it's a huge workaround when it comes to TikTok, but it is possible. You can do it. Okay. You can schedule on TikTok Studio. And then one other tool that I have used, most of you may or may not know this, but when I started my first business online in June of 2022, I actually was a social media manager. So I took my experience from corporate and managed 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, social medias. Okay. I was managing hundreds of social media platforms. And one of my tried and true scheduling tools was Metrical. You can also use Meta Business Suite if you are, trying to use Facebook and Instagram. That's another way to schedule. But I used Metrical, and Metrical has a free plan. So you can use Metrical and not have to pay for it every month. And the analytics were amazing. They were incredible. It actually would print me a report every month to say, this is the engagement rate, this is the growth for all my clients' platforms. So I do talk about Metrical in my automation domination guide and give you a little bit of information about how to use that. But Metrical is a really good tool that you can use if you want to schedule just to one platform, or if you want to schedule, the same video to go on all platforms. You can connect it to Threads, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Okay. So just know if you are not being consistent right now and you're blaming your 9 to 5 and you're saying, well, I have a job and by the time I get home, cut the excuses. It's time for you to let that go. Okay. You can schedule all of your content. I don't schedule my reels or my TikToks, but I do schedule my group post, my Facebook group post, because I have a plan. I know what I'm doing in my group every single week. Sometimes I schedule my personal profile Facebook posts. Some people can do that, some can't, but I can actually do that right there inside the Facebook app. So if I know I'm going to be on calls all day on Tuesdays and Thursdays with my students, I go ahead and schedule my content out. so that it's done. A lot of my threads over on Threads, if you're on Threads and we're not hanging out there, check it out. Check me out there. But I schedule a lot of my threads that go out just because I'm so plugged into TikTok and Instagram every day. I might not have the amount of time I want to commit to these other platforms. But I scheduled a whole month's worth of threads in 2 hours. The whole month's done. So I just plug in every day, engage a little bit, and I'm good for the whole month. So you absolutely can do this. It's going to save you so much time and so much money, honestly, because time is money. All right, number 7, organize your files and folders. Okay, so how many times have you went to create a piece of content today and you're like this on your phone, scrolling for where's that video? Where is that video? Where is that video? Where? You got to get yourself organized. Again, we got to start acting like a CEO. Okay, not an employee of your own business. All right, so get yourself organized. Some ninja tips here. If you are someone who is an iPhone user, you're a cloud user of some sort, or go spend some time once a month and go through your iCloud and organize it. Put all of your B-roll pieces of content that you filmed, into your into a folder that says B-roll, right? All of your talking videos, put them in one that says talking, whatever that is. Organize your content and your elements of your content. All right. It's so important. You're wasting so much time because you're throwing shit together and throwing spaghetti at the wall. And you save so much time if you just spent 30 minutes a week organizing. Okay. Your phone should not be a junk drawer. It should be the tool that's going to make you money in your business. Okay. Another tool that I use to help me keep super organized is repurpose.io. Okay. So I use repurpose.io. You can actually find, again, more resources about how I use that specifically in my automation domination guide. If you're on TikTok, you can actually check it out, my stand store. I give you a link that gets you 2-week free trial. But repurpose.io backs up all of my content. So every reel, every TikTok that I post on those platforms, it automatically downloads it, removes the watermark, and puts it into my Google Drive. And it organizes it for me. Okay, it organizes it for me. So use some of these automation tools to help you get organized. The beauty of that is when I go to repurpose content or rinse and repeat my content, it's all in my Google Drive, easily organized. These are all your TikToks. These are all your reels. These are all your, Facebook reels, whatever. It backs up all of my content for me and keeps it organized for me. Use Google Drive. That's another thing. So if you don't want to spend the money on a tool like repurpose.io, you want to do it for free, that's totally okay. But organize it, right? Have a Google Drive that says, these are my June TikToks. These are my July TikToks. These are my, organize it and get it all together. Because what's happening is, because you're not organized, you're spending so much time searching for something. Then you get frustrated with yourself. And then you expect yourself to, in that frustration, film a piece of content that's going to bring in your ideal client. And there's absolutely no way. You're so irritated or frustrated that you can't find something that's bleeding into your content. When you are organized, and another piece, this doesn't really have to do much with video content, but Canva, organize your Canva. I don't know who needs to hear that, but go make folders in it. Okay. But when you spend just 30 minutes a week organizing your business, 1, you're going to be able to work faster. Okay. But 2, you're going to be able to be more efficient with optimizing what's working and what's not working. Right. So you're going to be able to look back and say, okay, in July, these were the top 5 performing TikToks. I want to recreate those. And you're going to be able to go directly to them instead of scrolling your TikTok feed for 3 days looking for that video. Get organized. Okay. So, and I actually teach you a lot about my content repurposing strategy as a whole. So how I take my TikToks and turn them into reels and Facebook posts and all of those things in my 100K masterclass. So you can comment Steal on Facebook or IG, and it will send you the link directly to check out that masterclass. If you're on TikTok, you can go to my fave resources on my stand store and get that as well. But I show you my entire repurposing strategy for free. How exactly I do this, how I stay organized, and how I can make sure that every piece of content that I put out is generating sales for my business. Okay. All right. Another thing is we talked this training as a whole is geared towards, getting organized in your editing and your posting and speeding up that process. But another way to do this or another thing that you need to take into consideration, I should say, is keeping your business organized as a whole. So every piece of content that you put out, video, post, doesn't matter, email, doesn't matter what type of content, should be leading back to your business, right? Your freebies, leading people to get on your email list, leading back to a product you sell, something of that sort. So you need to spend some time, if you haven't already, organizing your business plan, your branding, your products, your freebies. If you are searching through all your emails or through all your links, all your funnels, trying to find that link to get somebody a freebie, and it takes you more than 1 minute, you need to get your business organized. Okay. You need to get it organized. So I actually do have a 6-figure business binder. It's not available in my Stand store. I usually only have it available for like an upsell, so to speak, in my courses, and my students in my academy have my binder already, but this is just something I've created. It's a low ticket item. I've used this in my business personally for the last 2 years to make sure I'm tracking all my social media links, right? All my freebie links, all my product links, all my branding kit, everything is in one place, So if you are interested in it, I did create, a link for people to be able to purchase it and get yourself organized. But you are spending so much time searching through your emails, searching through, your Google Drive, looking for that thing you didn't organize, right? How much time have you spent searching through your emails, looking for a login for a course you bought, and you can't even find the link to the course, much less the login information, right? If you start putting everything in one place, then it's going to be so much easier. When you buy a course, put the login and the link on this binder. When you create a new freebie, put the link on the binder. Okay. It's a virtual binder, obviously, but it's helped me grow my business to multiple 6 figures and stay organized. So you can drop binder on Facebook or IG. We'll get you the link to that. If you're on TikTok, you can shoot me a DM on IG that says binder, and we'll get you the link to that as well. Okay. All right. Tip number 8, keep it stupid simple. Seriously, you're overcomplicating it. Okay. So you are overcomplicating the entire process of your video content. And that's one of the reasons you're struggling. And I shared this in last week's masterclass, but more than likely, it's a confidence issue, not a content issue. Yes, you need to improve your content. Yes, you need to improve your messaging. Yes, you need to improve, how you're speaking to people and your sales processes and all of those things. But 9 times out of 10, you're not improving those things because you are continuing to do the wrong things, because you're not confident to take that next step. You're not confident to hire that mentor. You're not confident to fix what's not working. You're not confident in your content. So you are copying someone else's, hoping that it works, right? It's almost always a confidence issue. And one of the resources that I recommend that you plug into is that DMO training. Because when you can finally master your day, master what you're doing in your business, what are your tasks, what is your job as your CEO, you're going to feel more confident in your business. And when you feel more confident in your business, you'll be able to look at your content from a different perspective and say, okay, I am confident I have something that I can serve people with. I'm confident I can help people. Now I need to figure out the content piece. Okay. 9 times out of 10, it's a confidence issue. And this, like I said, this is something I really honed in on in the masterclass. It's something I talk about with my students in my programs, the club, and the academy. But if you are not taking the steps to improve your content or improve your workflows or improve your business, it's that you're not confident. You're scared to spend $25 a month to get repurpose.io or ManyChat. You're scared to spend that money because you're not confident that your business is going to make sales. If you are not hiring a mentor to give you feedback on your content or to help you get your content messaging correct, it's because you're not confident that it's going to bring you sales and that it's going to pay for itself. It's a confidence issue. And I hate to tell you this, but 9 times out of 10, most people are not born with confidence. Confidence comes with doing the action, repetition, putting in the reps. Okay. It's a muscle memory thing. So until you start taking that action, you're not going to be confident. And I said this in a Facebook post last week, but it's true. 99% of people that watch my free trainings every week or get my free guides or get my free resources, because I've been doing this for 2 years, every week showing up with trainings like this, they won't take that information and put it into their business. They listen to it. They're like, oh, that's good. And they won't do anything with it because they didn't pay for it. That's the honest truth. It's the honest truth. And they're not going to put it into their business because they may be unsure or they may be, again, not confident in themselves. They're or what if I should do this? Or maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do this. It's time for you to start putting in the reps to become more confident in yourself and your business and who you're serving and how you're serving them. When you feel like you have something to offer that people can't live without, that you know for a fact it's going to serve people, the confidence will come. But right now, more or less, you might be second guessing that because maybe you bought a program and you're promoting it and you haven't made a sale yet. So you're not confident. You're like, ooh, I can't talk about that. I haven't made my own sales, right? Then good, don't talk about that. Talk about something your ideal client actually cares about, right? So it really is about learning your ideal client and being more confident that you have a solution for them, okay? So a lot of that comes from mastering daily operations, becoming the CEO of your business. And then a lot of it comes from getting a mentor, right? And I'll tell you from experience, I've spent almost a lot of money on mentors, over $60,000, and you won't jive with every one of them. You might be like, well, I've had mentorship and it didn't work. Okay, well, it probably wasn't the right person. I spent 10 grand on a program not long ago. In January of this year, I was about 8 weeks in the program and I said, this just isn't jiving with me. It's not working. And I blessed and released. That's how it happened. So just know, one, confidence comes from the muscle memory. So you have got to start building your confidence that you can help people. Okay. When you do, you'll start showing up differently in your content, and then your content won't be an issue anymore. Okay. Tip number 9, documentation over creation. So we talked about how you are overcomplicating content. Okay. And you're always like, oh, I don't know what to say. I just don't feel inspired today. I'm not creative enough for this. Good. People like authenticity. Documentation over creation. Okay. So what I mean by that is a lot of your content should be you documenting the process, right? Documenting why you started, documenting what results it's gotten you, documenting someone that you've helped, right? Oh, I've helped her achieve this or him achieve this. Stop thinking that you have to go create some viral reel and start documenting what's working. Now, if nothing's working in your business, then we need to go back through the early phases, right? But if you've got things working in your business, if people are coming in your DMs and telling you that you've helped them, you've inspired them, that you have made a difference in their life, document that. If you made a sale today, document that. Okay. You don't have to make all these fancy income claims, but you can share with people you made a sale and what that sale is doing for you. What's it doing for your family, right? If you are a coach or some sort of service provider and your student messages you and says, this happened for me, share that. But you're overcomplicating, thinking that you have to create all these viral reels and these trends and all of this stuff. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be documenting your journey. Because one, it's going to be more authentic, but two, people are going to be able to see themselves in your documentation. So some tips I have for this, get you some simple tools to help you speed up that process. Okay. So let's see, those of you that are on Instagram and on TikTok, you'll probably be able to see this. Those of you that are on Instagram probably won't be able to see this those of you that are on TikTok probably won't be able to see this because my phone's actually in it, but I'll hold it up here. This little thing right here, okay, this little tool, $25 on TikTok. Okay, that's what I paid for that thing. And I use it every single day in my business. It does face tracking. It allows me to film B-roll quickly. I've set this up when I'm on vacation and just let it film, but I'm documenting my life in a way that matters to my ideal client. So we don't want to just document as an influencer, like day in the life, but I'm able to film B-roll very quickly, right? Get some simple tools that are going to help you speed that process up. Get you a ring light, get you a sticky thing for the back of your phone, whatever. But how can you make your content easier? How can you make the creation process easier? How can you make the documentation process easier? Right? Again, I set this up when we were packing our condo back in July on vacation, and it filmed while I was like packing suitcases. And I got about 10 minutes worth of filming, and I've used it for about 10 reels at this point as B-roll. So one simple thing, right? But you might be making excuses of why you can't. I don't have fancy equipment, whatever. $25. It's the best money I ever spent. It's a tax write-off at that. And I'm not a tax professional, but seriously, get some tools to help you with the process. Okay. Stop making excuses. If you need a new phone, get a new phone. If you're saying your reels are terrible because your camera's broken, get a new phone. You got to do what you got to do to grow your business. Okay. But get some simple tools, but document more than anything. Get B-roll while you're doing things in your business. Get B-roll while you're around the house. All of those things. But there's several tools that I've purchased off TikTok Shop for like less than $10. They're just really inexpensive. And you can get my TikTok showcase. You can check out the ones that I recommend that are personally used on TikTok, or if you're on Facebook or IG, you could drop showcase and I'll send that link to you. But I personally, there's been several that I bought and I'm like, this is junk, and I've thrown it away. So I only put ones in my showcase that I use every day on my business. But a $10 tool could speed up your editing time. If you're trying to prop your phone up on the windowsill and make it work, how much time are you spending every time it falls, right? I mean, it's just thinking about what are ways that can save you time, because time is money. And that is the hardest thing as a beginner to understand. It's the hardest thing as a beginner to understand. You feel like I don't have money. Money keeps going out and it's not coming in. But in actuality, time is money, right? Time is money. So one small tool could speed up and give you hours back every single month. Okay. Same thing with the car. A lot of you might be filming content in the car and you're trying to prop the phone up on the steering wheel. Get a phone holder. They're like $7 or something. Come on. Get what you need for your business to make it easier. Okay. That's the whole point. And then tip number 10, repurpose. Okay. You should not be creating brand new content every single day. I make multiple 5 figures every single month for my business consistently. And I have been for 18 months now. I've not dipped less than 5 figures in 18 months. And I do not post brand new content every day. I actually only about 10% of the content I post every month is new. The rest of it is either curated or repurposed. And that's because what I teach is marketing principles. Those don't change. That's why I don't teach you how to go viral. That's why I don't teach you, the latest hack or this or that. What I teach is marketing principles. That's not going to change. So I'm able to repurpose my content over and over and over. I might refilm it so that it's updated. I might refilm it so that it's fresh, but I'm not having to recreate the wheel every month. And this is what you need to be doing in your business. There's a lot of ways to do this, but ultimately, the first thing you want to know is you don't want to repurpose what's not working. Okay. So the first thing you have to do is understand you got to get your content nailed down. Once you nail it down and it's making sales, it's bringing in engagement, it's growing your audience, then repurpose it. But don't repurpose things that aren't working. It's not going to change, right? So that's part of the reason you really got to get clear on your content, get your daily method of operations nailed down so that you can have a plan to repurpose. And I actually released a new masterclass last Friday, I believe. If you haven't already plugged into that, it is the exact rinse and repeat strategy that I use every single month to generate multiple 5 figures in my business. So it's free. It's a free masterclass. I didn't charge for this one. If you haven't snagged it already, you can drop Machine on Facebook or IG. And if you're on TikTok, it's actually at the top of my Stand store. But I show you exactly step by step what I do every single month in my business to bring in 5 figures, and how I do this by repurposing. I use what's called a rinse and repeat framework. It's exactly what I stress to my students in the academy, and I break it down for you step by step in that masterclass. So if you don't take advantage of that masterclass, that's your fault. But it's completely free. Okay. But you should not be creating new every month. You should. Your ideal client's desires are not going to change. Their problems are not going to change. So you have to get super clear on that. And when you do, you'll be able to create content so much faster. I can film 10 TikToks in less than an hour now. 10. And mine are A-roll, like me talking. And most of them are 3 to 4 minutes long. So the reason is because I know my audience. I know exactly what you need to hear. I know what you're struggling with. I know what your desires are. And I show up, I film, and I get off the app. Sometimes even more than 10. I like to set a timer and time myself because I'm a competitive person. But seriously, when you understand your ideal client and you get your messaging nailed down, which is what I work on with you in the club, you will be able to start creating content a lot faster. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't happen overnight. So a lot of you are like, well, I've been trying, it's not working. It's not going to happen overnight, ever. Okay. This is a process. This is a business. Businesses take 5 years in real life to get profitable. So the good news is online businesses don't usually take that long, but you do have to give it time, but you have to actually start. And you're not going to start, you're not going to achieve that messaging, that branding, those sales that you want by doing the same thing over and over, by copying other reels, by this program tells you post this and you'll be able to make so many sales a day. That's not going to work. Your ideal client is not the same as everyone else in that program. Stop rinsing and repeating other people's content. It doesn't work. Okay. It doesn't work. So, and that being said, I'm going to answer you guys' questions. And as always, this is how I can help you. If you are having no to low sales, no growth, no engagement, you're struggling in those areas, you can drop club in the comments. If you're on TikTok, you can get it in my stand store. But my social success club, I work with students specifically on the content, the messaging, the branding as a whole. So the very beginning foundations of growing your online business. Okay. It's a monthly mentorship membership program. You're not locked in for any certain amount of time. You can cancel anytime you want. But every single month we have live calls weekly with me, coaching sessions for 1 hour. We do content planning together. So if you're struggling with planning that content, or like we talked about number 1, we do this together. We do content audits every month. So we also look at auditing your content to see what's not working, what is working, and I give you direct feedback on your content. And then we also talk about things that are happening on the platform and how to improve your content as a whole. If you're someone who has made sales, but it's inconsistent, maybe you have poor operations, right? Maybe you're making sales every month, but your life is scattered. You're like, it's a shit show around here and I'm losing my mind. I'm bringing in money, but I'm burnt out. Or you don't have any automations and you're like, look, I need to automate my entire process. Then you can drop apply in the comments on Facebook or IG. If you're on TikTok, you can find the link in my stand store, but you can apply to work with me in the academy. So the Social Success Academy is now application only, just because I want to see where you are in your business currently. I want to see where those bottlenecks are in your business and make sure that it's the right step for you or if the club's better for you. But you can apply for the academy and I will, come into the DMs. I'll give you a one-on-one chit chat, you and I, to see where you are in your business. What do you need the most help with? And, how I can plug into your business and help with you. Okay. So I'm going to go through and answer all of the questions you guys had. Let's see. So I'm going to start with Facebook. Jennifer says, spot on, no confidence in my content. And that's a struggle, right? A lot of people are like, I'm not confident on camera. I'm not confident in my messaging. I'm not confident in my business. And honestly, a lot of that comes with practice, right? You might be camera shy. You might not be confident on camera, but that just comes with practice as a whole. Okay. So a lot of people are avoiding filming content because they're not confident. You're not going to be confident until you start filming content. It's that muscle memory. Okay. So some things that you could do to work on that, just film on your camera roll. Just start talking to the camera. Start talking to the camera. Don't worry about it being scripted or perfect, and build that muscle memory. But the more you post, the more consistent you are, the faster you're going to build that confidence. And that's one of the reasons in my TikTok Tactics Challenge, I teach to post 3 videos a day for your first 90 days. I don't currently post 3 times on TikTok every day anymore because I don't need to. My account grows by over 100 people every single day. I get opt-ins every single day, traffic, sales, all of that. But in the beginning, I teach you to do 3 videos a day, and that's exhausting. I get it, but it's so that you get those reps in faster, right? You get those reps in faster. So if you're only posting once a day, and for 90 days, that's 90 videos, right? If you're posting 3 times a day for 90 days, that's 270 videos. You're going to become a whole lot more better. My English is not the best today, you guys. A whole lot better, faster. And you're going to get those reps in a lot faster, right? You're going to become more confident on camera. So that is the reason in my challenge. And if you haven't checked out my TikTok Tactics Challenge, it is a specific training to how I grew my TikTok account as quickly as I did. We're coming up on 1 year on my new TikTok, so I'm really excited about that. But I made $100,000 in 6 months from TikTok alone, just this one platform. That wasn't my overall sales for my business. That was just sales from that one platform. And that's because I learned how to master my content there. I mastered it. And now, like I said, I can create 10 videos in an hour. So it's just part of that practice and getting those reps in. And I do actually have my challenge in my Stand story. You can check that out, where I show you behind the scenes of how I created content for TikTok, what I did to start, and I actually give 3 weeks of content prompts. Let's see. Beverly said, I recently had an audit with Elise. She was so clear and shared great feedback. It was easy to put my content and made positive difference. Oh, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you. So that is something, you guys. I mean, a lot of people, I think, are scared to have an audit done because they don't want to. They're worried about the feedback, right? No one wants to hear negative feedback. No one wants to hear fix this, fix this, fix this, fix this. But even myself, as someone who, like I said, I consider myself to be a pretty successful business owner online, I have a coach and I have her audit my stuff, my content, my emails, everything. Because when you're that close to it, you can't see it. Okay. So it's not that you don't know what to fix, but when you are so in it every day behind the camera and plugging it in, you can't see what's not working. It's really hard for you as a person to say, was that good or not good, right? When you get a third party view, they can really point this out to you and say, hey, I don't think this speaks to your ideal client, or I think this is probably what you meant to say, or what would work better, right? So audits are something that can really help you in your business. And Tammy says the Social Success Club is perfect for the beginner and even those who have been doing it for a while. Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, the club, we meet on Thursdays. So if you're interested, you can jump in today. You'll be able to be on our call tomorrow. But the club is really focused on that person that needs to nail their content. And the academy is hyper focused on that person who has, got their content together. Now let's take you from 1,000 to 10,000 a month, or 5,000 to 10,000 a month, right? That's scaling, that automation, those workflows. Jennifer said she has audited my stuff. I'm in the club. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm so excited. All right, let me see what questions we have on IG. Let's see. The views to revenue masterclass was amazing. Yes, I suck at planning. Yeah, Lance, that is one of the hardest parts for people, is the planning. And 9 times out of 10, again, it's just honestly getting yourself in the mindset of, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get this out, right? I'm going to nail this down. And once you get in the habit of planning your content, it becomes so much easier. Like every month I can plan my content in less than an hour for the whole month because because I know what I'm doing, right? Because I've made a practice of doing it. But right now, when you sit down and you go to plan, you're thinking, oh man, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. You're second guessing everything. And so that is one reason mentorship can be a huge piece to help you, because it will guide you through the first time or two, right? And then after that, you can take it up on your own. Love your Trello boards. Oh, thank you. All right. Trello is so good. Yeah, I love Trello, you guys. I use Trello for just about everything in my business. And anybody that's done any of my programs or masterclasses, I also love Trello. the trial I gave to the masterclass last week, the comments are like, this was pretty intense. Let's see. Lance says, what's your thoughts on content created by ChatGPT? Yes. So, okay. I love ChatGPT. I use it every single day in my business, like probably every hour on the hour. This is my thoughts on it. I use it to generate ideas. I use it to maybe optimize something, make it better. But writing your content, one, it sounds robotic. Two, it uses words that you'll never use. Okay. Delve. I've never heard anybody in my life say the word delve, but it's something that I use to generate ideas and ideas only. Okay. Or again, optimize something. So maybe I put something into a bullet point list and I want it to be more descriptive. I might put it in ChatGPT and say, hey, take this list I've created, make it more descriptive, make it a checklist, something like that, right? But to actually create your content has to be emotional. And ChatGPT will tell you it's a robot. It doesn't have emotion. So using it to generate ideas are great. And then take that idea and customize it to your brand, your ideal client, and in your language. Okay. But I can 1000% tell when ChatGPT wrote word for word your caption or your email. Okay. I can 1000% tell when you're reading a ChatGPT script, and so can your audience. So it's really important, again, use those tools. I am all about automation. I'm all about AI. But I teach something called authentic automation, and it is using it to assist you to be more efficient, but it should not be, the only correspondence you have with your audience. All right, let's see. Michelle teaches us to use it. It's so, yeah. I'm not sure who Michelle is, but 1000% it's robotic. I can tell. And it's kind of funny that people haven't realized you can tell when something's copy and pasted from TikTok. I mean, from ChatGPT. Like I see Threads. If you guys aren't hanging out on Threads, I love Threads. I didn't realize I would. I never was a Twitter person, but I really love Threads. I can tell when your thread was written by ChatGPT because it has little asterisks on the side of it. Like you got to learn how to work smarter. Okay. It's kind of obvious. And also you're going to lose credibility. If everything you do is written by ChatGPT and people can tell, you're going to lose credibility. Let's see. All right. I'm looking for questions, and I know we have some questions on TikTok. Yeah, so Kaiser asked about a replay. The replay for this, if you have to hop off, I know I've run over an hour at this point. You can find it in my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. So if you're not already in my community, you can, if you're on Facebook, you're probably in the community, but just in case, you can drop group on IG or Facebook and we'll get you that link. If you're on TikTok, you'll have to find it in my stand store. TikTok won't allow me to DM you links, okay? Let's see. Lance said, what is the process to getting engagement on a brand new IG account? So biggest tips for getting engagement. One, being consistent in your content. IG's algorithm is completely different than TikTok's. Okay. So TikTok, in my opinion, you can grow a lot faster on TikTok than you can on Instagram. You can. Okay. You can. But with that being said, I believe it's easier to make money on Instagram, because you can send links and DMs, you can automate your DMs. You have stories are just so much easier to use than they are on TikTok. So there's a plus and a minus to both. Okay. But the brand new IG, one, being uber consistent. That doesn't mean you have to post 5 times a day, but at least once a day, every single day. Okay. Your job in the beginning with a brand new account is to teach the algorithm who you're trying to reach. Okay. So if you are posting kind of randomly every couple days, it's going to take you longer to teach the algorithm. You're training the algorithm. Okay. That's why, just like, you and your husband talked about buying a new car, and then all of a sudden that car shows up on your Facebook, right? Everything is listening to you. All right. So it's really important to stay consistent. I don't recommend doing follow for follow. Just trying to grow your account. I would find a couple creators, maybe 5, that are either selling something similar or they have the same ideal client as you. Study their content, study their audience, see what's working, follow those people. But I would not go through and follow 100 people a day hoping they'll follow you back. Another thing I would focus on is when you're doing engagement, engage with your ideal client, not your niche. So when you're only engaging with other people that are doing legacy, or only engaging with other people that are doing, I see legacy in your name. So I believe that's what you're a part of the legacy community. When you're only engaging with those people, the algorithm's only going to feed you those people, right? So go to those creators that you found and see what hashtags they're using, what keywords they're using. Search those hashtags, search those keywords on the platform, and engage with your ideal client, not your niche. Trending audio can help push your content out. That's helpful. And then also looking at just your content as a whole, right? Making sure that your messaging is spot on. It's making emotional connection. It's solution selling. All of that has to be done. And I know that's like a lot of things, but if you get it right from the very beginning, then you're starting your account off on the right foot, and you're not going to go back 90 days from now and say, maybe I should start over, right? So really focus on nailing that content from the very beginning. Let's see. All right. I know there's some talk here about $900 a day and something. So let me see if there's any other questions. Okay. I know we've got some questions on TikTok, so let me get those for you guys, and we're going to hop off. So Facebook and IG, I'm going to let you guys go while I answer TikTok's questions. As always, I hope to see you in my programs. I hope to get to work with you. Please make sure you plug into all these free resources that I give you and you use them. Okay. They don't do any good sitting in your inbox. It's time to put them into action. Okay. I don't hold anything back. I don't gatekeep all of my resources. I'm giving it to you. But it's your job to use them in your business. Okay. So I hope to see you guys in the club or the academy, and TikTok. I'm going to come answer you guys questions right now. So I'll talk to y'all soon.